Well, one thing I can tell you about owning a hot rod, it seems like the projects never end. And before I get into this week's projects, though, I'd like to thank all the people that have been subscribing. In the past couple of weeks, we've picked up a bunch of subscribers. I appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. Well, this week's projects, I need to finish up on the oil pan. I'm waiting on Canton to send me the new gasket, and I still got a little bit of cleaning to do underneath. I also called Enderley fuel pump people. Here's the pieces for what's left of my pump that I didn't send. And you can see twisted my shaft like a pretzel, broke it. I called them up. They said their test machine is broke down right now. And I'm thinking, what's that got to do with my pump being locked up? Did you find out why it was locked up? And he just kept telling me about his test machine being broke down. So I was getting nowhere with that. So I'll call them back in a couple days. Hopefully they'll have an answer. Another project this week is I need to drain the fuel out of the fuel cell and flush out the line going up to the front. Still got a couple gallons in the tank, so I want to get that drained and flushed. And also I want to pull the transmission this week while I got it up in the air. I've been having a lot of problems with the car slamming into gear, like when you put it in reverse or you put it into drive. I've already changed the torque converter once. We went from a 3,500 RPM stall to a 4,500 RPM stall, but it doesn't seem to help the shifting part. I talked to Anton Morgan, my transmission builder, and he called me up and said he saw the videos and saw how it was slamming, and he thought that he can, he said over the winter, if I have the transmission out, he would take it back and do some adjusting on it. So I want to get it out, and we'll get it back over to him and see if he can help fix that problem. Well, again, appreciate everybody watching. Let me get back to work. Well, just about finished cleaning up the pan, and I thought I'd take a second to show you what the inside looked like. This particular pan, made by Canton, they say it's for an AC Cobra with a 460 motor in it, and it's a road racing pan. So if you look inside, it's got 4 baffles or trap doors right here. You can see all 4 sides. So if the car accelerates, this door would open, the oil would keep this full, and the back door would close. Same thing if you went left or right. And also it's got this plate right here. Kind of like a windage tray, I should say, to keep the oil from splashing up. And then the pickup goes down. It's got a hex-shaped screen. It goes down into almost to the bottom, into there. So the problem I had when I built the car was trying to find an 8-quart oil pan that was shallow. And this pan right here, from the top down to the bottom, is only 8 inches. And it's an 8-quart pan. Most of them were 9 or 11 inches. They've got really deep sumps on them. A lot of the drag racing pans. But my problem is with a T-bucket, I didn't have a lot of ground clearance. So I think right now, with the 8-inch deep pan, I'm probably about 6 inches off the ground with the oil pan. And I didn't want to get any closer to the ground than that with a, like a drag racing style pan that had a real deep sump in the back. So this seemed to work out really good, and I've had no trouble with it so far. Let me keep working. I still got to get underneath the car and clean the bottom of the block. Well, as you can see here, I've been working on the oil pan gasket under the bottom of the engine. I got about 3/4 of it off. I just got a little bit more to do, but I had to get out of there to take a break. So I figured while I would take a break, I've been draining the methanol out of my fuel cell in the back here. You can see here, I got it's a 24-gallon fuel cell. What I did was I put about 5 or 6 ounces of Marble Mystery Oil in there, and then I took an air hose here and pressurized the air tank to blow it back out blow it through the fuel line. And then you can see up here, I got a 3/4 inch ball valve right here where I can shut the fuel off. I got it open, and you probably see here in the bottom of my jug, Marvel Mystery Oil. So now I know that the line's good and lubed. The tank's lubed. If there's any pockets in the tank that didn't get drained, it'll have oil in it. So I should be good to go for the winter as far as the fuel now. With the top being done and the tank empty and the lines blew out, like I said, that should be it. I think in the spring, when I go to start it back up, I'll probably put about a half a gallon of methanol in it and blow it back through the lines, flush everything out, you know, get rid of it, and then go ahead and start filling it up from there. Well, let me get back to this oil pan gasket. Well, as you can see here, I started working on taking out the transmission. I already got the drive shaft out. I got the transmission drained. I just wanted to show you how tight this is up underneath here. I don't know if it's going to adjust for the light or not. If you can see, this is the bottom of the steering box right here. I only got about a 1/2 inch of clearance there. I've had it out before. It's not really that bad. I'm getting ready to start on the, let me show you here, the torque converter bolts. With the oil pan off, you can see up in there, it's real easy to get the torque converter bolts out. The hardest part is the transmission cooler lines, which are over on the other side. I get over to the other side, I'll show you. That probably takes the most time, is getting those things off, because they're so tight with the scatter shield over the top of the transmission. So let me see if I can get these torque converter bolts out, and then we'll head over to the other side. Well, I finished on the other side. I got the shifter mounting bracket off, the shifting cable off. I got all the bell housing bolts out. And I'm over here working on these transmission lines. I just wanted to show you quick, if you can see up in here. Those fittings are a pain in the ass with that scatter shield there. If we didn't have a scatter shield, it'd be pretty easy to get them off. But that shield blocking them, it's a real pain in the butt to get those out. Well, let me see if I can get the other one out, and then I'll be ready to pull it out. Well, I got the 2 transmission lines out, and as you can see, I got the bell housing bolts out. I got it pulled back a little bit. Right now it's sitting on the dowel pins and my floor jack. So let me go set up the camera on the other side, and I think I can wiggle it back. It's only got to go back maybe another 1/2 inch, and it'll clear the dowel pins, and then I can lower it and see if I can get it down to the floor. Let me run over to the other side. I got more room with the the drag link here in the master cylinder. I got more room to slide it out the other side. Here. Let me see if I got a block of wood I could slide it onto the. I can't lower the jack anymore, and see if I can slide it off onto a piece of wood, get it lower where I can get it out. Well, I managed to get it out. Luckily, we didn't break nothing. Well, as you can see, I got it out, and without dropping it. That's a good thing. It was a little tricky getting it out by myself, but for some of the people that hadn't been following the build, or maybe new subscribers, it's a 2-speed power glide. You can see here it's got a Reed aftermarket bell housing mounted to the pump. And I don't run a tail housing like a long or short. It's just got a roller bearing. They call it like a dragster style setup. You can see how short the transmission is the whole transmission is just right from here to here. And then the torque converter and bell housing from there to there. That's how small the thing is. And the reason I'm pulling it out is when you put the car in gear, it slams into gear. I mean, even at an idle, and this thing idles pretty fast, but I mean, it just feels like it's gonna rip the drive shaft out. Or it chirps the tires. It slams so hard. So I talked to Anton Morgan. He's the fellow that built the transmission, and that's what he does for a living. He builds drag racing power glides for drag racing. And he said if I brought it back over there, he can do some internal adjusting on it and get it to where, you know, it won't slam this hard back and forth, front and back. So I called him up. He said to let him know when I get it out, which I'll call him today. And one day next week, I'll bring it over there. But his shop is about 2.5 hours from me, closer to Asheville. And I asked him if I had to leave it or I can come, you know, pick it up or drop it off or come back and pick it up. He said if I came early in the morning, he would do it right away. He said it'd probably take 2 to 3 hours, tear it apart and do whatever he's going to do adjusting in it. So I went ahead and asked him if he would mind if I brought my GoPro and I'll make a video about it. So next week, if anybody's got any questions about a power glide or interested in getting one built, he's definitely the man to talk to about it. So, well, I appreciate everybody watching, like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in next week's video.